Hello everyone, welcome to the course on chemistry. Today we will solve the CET and NEET JEE questions from the chapter States of Matter. So before going to the problems, first we will glance what you have studied in States of Matter. So there you studied one of the important topic, that is intermolecular forces. It is the kind of attraction force which is present between the molecules, and there are different types of intermolecular forces. Those are dispersion force or London force, okay, and dipole forces, hydrogen bonding, and ion dipole forces. So these are the different types of intermolecular forces. And here dispersion force or London force is shown by all types of molecules and atoms, and dipole forces are seen in case of polar molecules, and hydrogen bonding is present in molecules containing H, that is hydrogen bonded to more electronegative atoms like fluorine, oxygen or nitrogen. And ion dipole forces, these are observed in case of mixtures of ionic compounds and polar compounds. Okay, just go through this, and here you will observe the strength. Here in case of dispersion or London force, the strength is very weak, and in case of ion dipole force, the strength of that force is very strong. So weakest force is dispersion or London force, and the strongest is ion dipole or ionic interactions. Okay, so just remember these types of intermolecular forces. Then you have studied gas laws. So gas laws, there are different laws. One is Avogadro's law, where it states V is directly proportional to N. That means volume is directly proportional to number of moles of gases or number of moles of particles which are present in a system, and A is constant, and V1 by N1 and V2 by N2, it is applied when there is two different conditions are maintained. Then second one, Boyle's law. It states that the pressure is inversely proportional to volume. It gives the relationship between pressure and volume, and it is mathematically expressed as PV is equal to K. And when two different conditions are maintained, then we write the P1 V1 is equal to P2 V2. And next one is Charles' law, that gives the relationship between volume and temperature, and B is the constant. And here volume is directly proportional to temperature, and for two different conditions, V1 by T1 is equal to V2 by T2 expression is used. And then Dalton's law, it is also known as Dalton's law of partial pressure, which states the total pressure of non-reacting gases is equal to the sum of partial pressures of individual gases, where P1, P2 and P3 are partial pressures of individual gases. And then ideal gas law, that is the gas which obeys the Boyle's law, Charles' law, Avogadro's law, is said to be ideal gas, and it is given as PV is equal to nRT, where P is pressure, V is volume, N is number of moles, R is universal gas constant, and its value is 0.08206 or 0.0821 liter atmosphere per Kelvin per mole, and T is temperature. Okay, and here some conversion factors have been given. 1 atm, 1 atmospheric pressure is equal to 760 mm of Hg, and that is equal to 760 torr, 1,01,325 Pascal, and it is given in kilopascal, bar, Hg, okay, in Newton per meter square. All those things have been given. Okay, just go through them. Then another law is Graham's law of diffusion. It states that under similar conditions of temperature and pressure, the rates of diffusion of gases are inversely proportional to the square root of their densities. Here the term diffusion that is very important. Diffusion means the intermixing of particles. Okay, usually gases, they will mix with each other when they are brought near to each other. That intermixing of gaseous particles is said to be diffusion. And that rate of diffusion or speed of the diffusion of gases is inversely proportional to square root of their densities. Means as density increases, rate of diffusion decreases, and if density decreases, rate of diffusion increases. Okay, and here R is equal to rate of diffusion, D is density of the gas. If R1 and R2 are the diffusion rates of two different gases having the densities D1 and D2, then it can be given as R1 by R2 is equal to square root of D2 by D1. And the density, it is dependent on the molecular weight of the gas, that can be given as M is equal to 2D, where molecular weight, M is molecular weight and D is vapor density, that is given as M is equal to 2D, or D is equal to M by 2. So substituting the value of D from this equation 2 in equation 1, we get R1 by R2 is equal to M2 divided by M1. Okay, so remember this, it is very important for the competitive examinations. Okay, then Gay-Lussac's law, it gives the relationship between pressure and temperature. P is directly proportional to T, that means pressure is directly proportional to temperature, and it is the graphical representation of the Gay-Lussac's law, and the mathematical expression is given as P1 by T1 is equal to P2 by T2. Okay, then the graphical representation of Boyle's law. As I have told you, it gives the relationship between pressure and volume. When we plot the graph for different P and 1 by V, PV by P, okay, V and P, P and 1 by V, we will get the curves like this. Okay, just remember these graphical representations of different gas laws. It is for Boyle's law, then graphical representation of Charles' law, which gives the relationship between volume and temperature. Okay, then graphical representation of Gay-Lussac's law, that gives the relationship between pressure and temperature. Just go through all these graphs. Now we will move to the multiple choice questions on basis of these gas laws and intermolecular forces. So the first one is use of hot air balloons in sports and meteorological observations is an applications of. So hot air balloon that you have seen, and meteorological observations means in weather department. Okay, the hot air balloons are used to study the weather, and there we will use the law, that is Charles' law. Okay, because it mainly work on volume and temperature relation. So when volume increases, density decreases, and hence it will move in upward direction. Okay, it gives the relationship between volume and temperature, and hot air balloons will work on that law only. Okay, so option B is the right one. Then second one, dipole-dipole forces act between the molecules possessing permanent dipole. Ends of dipole possess partial charges. The partial charge is dipole-dipole forces anta helidra. Example, here HCl molecules are there. Illi HCl molecules togondidini. HCl will act as dipole, and this another HCl molecule will also act as dipole because it has delta minus and delta plus charge. Those are said to be partial charges. You delta plus and delta minus ಗೆ ನಾವು ಏನಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ, partial charge ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ. Suppose if I have written H plus, ಈ ರೀತಿ H plus ಅಂತ ಬರುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಅವಾಗ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಏನಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ, 1 unit charge or unit electronic charge ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ. But they don't have the complete unit electronic charge. They have less than the unit electronic charge, and hence they are said to be partial charges. And dipole-dipole forces means the force of attraction which is present between two dipoles or two polar molecules. Okay, so here that partial charge represents what? Option A, more than unit electronic charge. It is not correct. Option B, equal to unit electronic charge. Idunu tappu. Less than unit electronic charge. Okay, so delta minus partial means it is less than electronic charge, unit electronic charge. Okay, so option C is the right answer. Third one, which is not true in case of ideal gas. ಈ ಕೊಟ್ಟಂತ ಸ್ಟೇಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಒಳಗ ಯಾವುದು ಕರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಆಪ್ಷನ್ ಎ, ಐಡಿಯಲ್ ಗ್ಯಾಸ್ ಕೆನಾಟ್ ಬಿ ಕನ್ವರ್ಟೆಡ್ ಇನ್ ಟು ಲಿಕ್ವಿಡ್. ಐಡಿಯಲ್ ಗ್ಯಾಸನ್ನು ಲಿಕ್ವಿಡ್ ಆಗಿ ಕನ್ವರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಬರೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ಎಸ್, ದಿಸ್ ಇಸ್ ದಿ ಕರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಸ್ಟೇಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್. ಅಂಡ್ ಆಪ್ಷನ್ ಬಿ, ದೇರ್ ಇಸ್ ನೋ ಇಂಟ್ರಾಕ್ಷನ್ ಬಿಟ್ವೀನ್ ದಿ ಮಾಲಿಕ್ಯೂಲ್ಸ್. ಮಾಲಿಕ್ಯೂಲ್ಸ್ ನಡುವೆ ಯಾವುದೇ ಅಟ್ರಾಕ್ಟಿವ್ ಫೋರ್ಸ್ ಅಥವಾ ಇಂಟರ್ಮಾಲಿಕ್ಯುಲರ್ ಫೋರ್ಸ್ ಇರೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ಅದಕ್ಕಾಗಿಯೇ ಅದು ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಬರೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ವಿ ಕ್ಯಾನಾಟ್ ಕನ್ವರ್ಟ್ ದ್ಯಾಟ್ ಇನ್ ಟು ಲಿಕ್ವಿಡ್ ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ದೇರ್ ಈಸ್ ನೋ ಇಂಟ್ರಾಕ್ಷನ್ ಬಿಟ್ವೀನ್ ದಿ ಮಾಲಿಕ್ಯೂಲ್ಸ್. ಸೊ ಆಪ್ಷನ್ ಬಿ ಈಸ್ ಆಲ್ಸೋ ರೈಟ್. ಆಪ್ಷನ್ ಸಿ, ಆಲ್ ಮಾಲಿಕ್ಯೂಲ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಗ್ಯಾಸ್ ಮೂವ್ ವಿತ್ ಸೇಮ್ ಸ್ಪೀಡ್. ಎಲ್ಲ ಮಾಲಿಕ್ಯೂಲ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಗ್ಯಾಸ್ ಏನಿರ್ತಾವಲ್ಲ ಸೇಮ್ ಸ್ಪೀಡ್ ಒಳಗೆ ಮೂವ್ ಆಗ್ತಾವೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ. ಬಟ್ ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಆ್ಯಕ್ಚುಲಿ ರಾಂಗ್. ಆಸ್ ಯು ನೋ, there is a collision takes place between the gas particles. ಗ್ಯಾಸ್ ಪಾರ್ಟಿಕಲ್ಸ್ ನಡುವೆ ಕೊಲಿಷನ್ ಆಗೋದ್ರಿಂದ ಅಲ್ಲೇ ಸ್ಪೀಡ್ ಏನಾಗ್ಕೊಂತ ಹೋಗುತ್ತೆ, ವೇರಿಯೇಷನ್ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಹೋಗುತ್ತೆ. ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಹೆನ್ಸ್ ದಿಸ್ ಸ್ಟೇಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಈಸ್ ರಾಂಗ್. ಆಪ್ಷನ್ ಸಿ, ಏನು ಆಲ್ ಮಾಲಿಕ್ಯೂಲ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಗ್ಯಾಸ್ ಮೂವ್ ವಿತ್ ಸೇಮ್ ಸ್ಪೀಡ್ ಅಂತ ಕೊಟ್ಟಾರಲ್ಲ, ಇದು ಏನು ರಾಂಗ್ ಸ್ಟೇಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್. ಫೋರ್ತ್ ಒನ್, ಅಟ್ ಎ ಗಿವನ್ ಟೆಂಪರೇಚರ್ ಪಿ ವಿ ಈಸ್ ಪ್ರೊಪೋರ್ಷನಲ್ ಟು ದಿ ಅಮೌಂಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಗ್ಯಾಸ್. ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಗಿವನ್ ಬೈ the ideal gas equation, PV is equal to nRT. So option D is also right one. So they asked which one is not true. So option C is not true and hence it is the correct answer, option C. Then fourth one, gas equation PV is equal to nRT is obeyed by. Option A, only isothermal process. Option B, only adiabatic process. C, both A and B. D, none of these. So yaad correct. First of all, you should know what is isothermal and adiabatic process. So isothermal process is the process where the temperature remains constant. Isothermal process ಒಳಗೆ ಟೆಂಪ್ರೇಚರ್ ಏನಿರುತ್ತೆ ಕಾನ್ಸ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಒಂದ ಅಮೌಂಟ್ ಒಳಗೆ ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ತಿರ್ತೀವಿ, ಹೀಟ್ ಎನರ್ಜಿನ ಸಪ್ಲೈ ಮಾಡ್ತಿರ್ತೀವಿ. ಅಲ್ಲೇ ಟೆಂಪ್ರೇಚರ್ ಏನಾಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ, ಹೆಚ್ಚಾಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ. Okay, so hence it is said to be isothermal process. If some system is maintained at 100 degrees Celsius, that will remains in 100 degrees Celsius only, and hence the temperature is constant, and that process is said to be isothermal process. Okay, where delta T, change in temperature, is 0. No change in temperature will takes place. And adiabatic process means where there is no transfer of heat or matter takes place between system and surroundings. Adiabatic process alli ಏನು ಹೀಟ್ ಏನಾಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ, ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸ್ಫರ್ ಆಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ, ಆಸ್ ವೆಲ್ ಆಸ್ ಮ್ಯಾಟರ್ನು ಏನಾಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ, ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸ್ಫರ್ ಆಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ಹೆನ್ಸ್ ದಿಸ್ ಗ್ಯಾಸ್ ಇಕ್ವೇಶನ್ ಪಿ ವಿ ಈಸ್ ಈಕ್ವಲ್ ಟು ಎನ್ ಆರ್ ಟಿ, ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಒಬೇಡ್ ಇನ್ ಐಸೋಥರ್ಮಲ್ ಪ್ರೊಸೆಸಸ್ ಆಲ್ಸೋ ಆಸ್ ವೆಲ್ ಆಸ್ ಇನ್ adiabatic process also, and hence option C, both A and B is the correct answer. So remember this gas equation is obeyed by isothermal as well as adiabatic processes. Fifth one, air at sea level is dense. This is a practical application of sea level ಒಳಗ ಏರ್ ಏನಿರುತ್ತೆ, ಗಾಳಿ ಬಹಳ ಡೆನ್ಸ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಓಕೆ, ಸಾಂದ್ರತೆ ಹೆಚ್ಚಿರುತ್ತೆ. ಅದ ಹೈಯರ್ ಅಲ್ಟಿಟ್ಯೂಡ್ಸಿಗೆ ಹೋದಂಗೆ ಡೆನ್ಸಿಟಿ ಆಫ್ ಏರ್ ಏನಾಗ್ತಾ ಹೋಗುತ್ತೆ, ಕಡಿಮೆ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಹೋಗುತ್ತೆ. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ಹಿಯರ್ ಐ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಗಿವನ್ ದಿ ಒನ್ ಡಯಾಗ್ರಾಮ್ ವೇರ್ ಇಟ್ ಇಂಡಿಕೇಟ್ಸ್ at sea level. Okay, at sea level there are presence of more molecules and hence the pressure is high. At high level the molecules, less number of molecules are there and hence there is a low pressure, and this is explained with the help of Boyle's law, because here volume is more and hence pressure becomes low. And here volume is less and hence the pressure is high. So volume and pressure, this relation can be explained with the help of Boyle's law, and hence option A is the right answer. Sixth one, the interaction energy of London force is inversely proportional to sixth power of the distance between two interacting particles, but their magnitude depends on. London force inversely proportional to distance between interacting particles ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ, ಸಿಕ್ಸ್ತ್ ಪವರ್. ಅಂದರೆ ಡಿಸ್ಟೆನ್ಸ್ ಹೆಚ್ಚಾದಂಗೆ ಲಂಡನ್ ಫೋರ್ಸ್ನು ಏನಾಗತ್ತೆ ರೀ, ಡಿಕ್ರೀಸ್ ಹಾಕ್ಕೊಂತ ಹೋಗುತ್ತೆ. ಅದ್ರ ಜೊತೆ ಮತ್ತು ಮ್ಯಾಗ್ನಿಟ್ಯೂಡ್ ಎದ್ರ ಮೇಲೆ ಡಿಪೆಂಡ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ಚಾರ್ಜ್ ಆಫ್ ಇಂಟ್ರಾಕ್ಟಿಂಗ್ ಪಾರ್ಟಿಕಲ್ಸ್. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ನಾಟ್ ಕರೆಕ್ಟ್. ಮಾಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಇಂಟ್ರಾಕ್ಟಿಂಗ್ ಪಾರ್ಟಿಕಲ್ಸ್, ಮಾಸ್ ಏನೇ ಆಗಿರಲಿ, ಓಕೆ, ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ನಾಟ್ ಡಿಪೆಂಡೆಂಟ್. Polarizability of their interacting particles, so it is dependent, magnitude depends on polarizability of interacting particles, and hence option C is the right answer. Seventh one, at a constant temperature for a given mass of an ideal gas, option A, the ratio of pressure and volume remains constant, okay, and the volume always remains a constant, pressure always remains constant, the product of pressure and volume always remains constant. So for an ideal gas, as you know, PV is equal to nRT, N and R are constant, T is temperature is also kept constant here, they have mentioned constant temperature. So PV is equal to a constant value. Therefore PV, that is product of pressure and volume, is always remains a constant. Therefore option D is the right one. Eighth one, select one correct statement in gas equation PV is equal to nRT. Option A, N is the number of molecules of a gas. Option B, V denotes volume of 1 mole of the gas. Option C, N moles of the gas have a volume V. Option D, P is the pressure of the gas when only 1 mole of gas is present. So here option A, N is number of molecules of gas A. N represent number of moles of A, and hence this is wrong. Option B, V denotes volume of 1 mole of gas. This is also wrong. If 1 mole of gas is taken, then equation becomes PV is equal to RT. So this is also wrong. Then C, N moles of the gas have volume V. This is right statement, because when the number of molecules is N, the volume is V. Therefore the correct statement is given in option C. Therefore answer is also C. Ninth one, correct gas equation is, if you go through the theory as well as combined gas equation, there you will come to know P1 V1 divided by T1 is equal to P2 V2 divided by T2 is the correct answer. So among these, which one is the right one? ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿರೋಳಗ right ಯಾವುದು? Option B. So P1 V1 divided by T1, T1 ಅನ್ನು ಏನು ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ಕ್ರಾಸ್ ಮಲ್ಟಿಪ್ಲೈ ಮಾಡ್ಯಾರ, and P2 V2 divided by T2. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ P2 V2 ನ ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ಯಾರ, ಡಿನಾಮಿನೇಟರ್ ಒಳಗೆ ತೊಗೊಂಬಂದಾರ, ಕ್ರಾಸ್ ಮಲ್ಟಿಪ್ಲೈ ಮಾಡಿ. ಸೊ P1 V1 is equal by P2 V2 is equal to T1 by T2. So this is the right one. Option B is the correct answer. Let's see the 10th question. A gas in an open container is heated from 27 degrees Celsius to 127 degrees Celsius. The fraction of the original amount of the gas remaining in the container will be. So these are the given options. ಏನು ಕೊಟ್ಟಾರಿಲ್ಲೇ, ಒಂದು ಕಂಟೈನರ್ ಒಳಗೆ ಗ್ಯಾಸ್ ಅದ, ಆ ಗ್ಯಾಸ್ ಅನ್ನ 27 ಡಿಗ್ರಿ ಇದ್ದಿದ್ದನ್ನ 127 ಡಿಗ್ರಿ ಸೆಲ್ಸಿಯಸ್ಗೆ ಹೀಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಯಾರ. ಅವಾಗ ಆ ಗ್ಯಾಸ್ ಎಷ್ಟು ಉಳಿತು, ಎಷ್ಟು ಫ್ರಾಕ್ಷನ್ ಒಳಗೆ ಆ ಕಂಟೈನರ್ ಒಳಗೆ ಉಳಿತು ಅನ್ನೋದು ನೀವು ಏನು ಮಾಡಬೇಕು, ಫೈಂಡ್ ಔಟ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ಫಸ್ಟ್ write down what they have given. Initially the temperature is how much? 27 degree Celsius. Let us call it as T1 and convert this into Kelvin. How you will convert that? 273 plus 27 will gives 300 Kelvin. Okay. Whenever the temperature is given in degree Celsius, you have to convert that into Kelvin while solving the problems. And then it is heated to, that is T2 is 127 degree Celsius. So how much it will gives? 273 plus 127, that is equal to 400 Kelvin. Now initially let us consider the volume is equal to V1. Starting ಎಷ್ಟಿತ್ತು ವಾಲ್ಯೂಮು V1 ಇತ್ತು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ತಿಳ್ಕೊರಿ. And final volume will be V2. Final volume is V2. We don't know the initial and final volume. So I have taken it as V1 and V2. Now use the formula. Which formula you will use here? See, they have given temperature and they asked you to find the volume. Now the relation between volume and temperature, it will be explained with the help of Charles law. ಯಾವ law explain ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ ಇದು? Charles law explain ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ. Therefore, we will use Charles law, and according to that, V1 by T1 is equal to V2 by T2. So this is the formula that we have. Now take volumes one side, that is V1 by V2 equal to T1 by T2. Now substitute the values of T1 and T2. T1 ಮತ್ತು T2 values ಅನ್ನು ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ರಿ? Substitute ಮಾಡ್ರಿ. ಏನು ಸಿಗುತ್ತಾ? V1 by V2 is equal to T1 is how much? It is 300 Kelvin divided by T2 is how much? 400 Kelvin. Okay. So 0 0 get cancels. So ratio V1 by V2 will be 3 by 4. So this fraction of gas will be remaining in the container. Okay. Therefore, the option, which option is right? Option A is the right answer. The next question, that is 11th one. Initial temperature of an ideal gas is 75 degrees Celsius. At what temperature the sample of neon gas would be heated to double its pressure if the initial volume is reduced by 15%. Okay. So here what you need to find? The temperature at which the pressure becomes double. Okay. Initially our ideal gas the temperature ಎಷ್ಟದ ರೀ? 75 degree Celsius ಅದ. ನಾವು ಯಾವ ಟೆಂಪರೇಚರ್ ಹೀಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದಾಗ ಆ ಪ್ರೆಷರ್ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ ಅದರದ ಡಬಲ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, ಅದನ್ನು ಫೈಂಡ್ ಔಟ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. ಅದ್ರ ಜೊತೆ ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಏನು ಕೊಟ್ಟಾರ? ಇನಿಷಿಯಲ್ ವಾಲ್ಯೂಮ್ ಎಷ್ಟು ರಿಡ್ಯೂಸ್ ಆಗತ್ತೆ ರೀ? 15% ರಿಡ್ಯೂಸ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಮೊದಲು ಇದ್ದಿದ್ದಕ್ಕಿಂತ 15% ಏನಾಗತ್ತೆ ರೀ? ಕಡಿಮೆ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಜಸ್ಟ್ ರೈಟ್ ಡೌನ್ ದಿ ಗಿವನ್ ಥಿಂಗ್ಸ್. ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಏನು ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರ? ಟೆಂಪರೇಚರ್. ಲೆಟ್ ಅಸ್ ಕನ್ಸಿಡರ್ ದಿಸ್ ಟೆಂಪರೇಚರ್ ಆಸ್ T1, ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ 75 degree Celsius. ಕನ್ವರ್ಟ್ ದಿಸ್ ಇಂಟು ಕೆಲ್ವಿನ್. ಕೆಲ್ವಿನಿಗೆ ಕನ್ವರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ರಿ, ಎಷ್ಟಾಗುತ್ತಾ? 273 ಪ್ಲಸ್ 75 gives 348 Kelvin. Okay. Then let us consider the volume is V1, and after the temperature rises, the final volume is reduced to how much? 15% by initial volume. Andre V2 the value ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ ರೀ? Final volume. So it can be given as V1 minus 15% ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ 15 divided by 100 into V1. ಇದು ಇನಿಷಿಯಲ್ ವಾಲ್ಯೂಮ್. ಈ ಇನಿಷಿಯಲ್ ವಾಲ್ಯೂಮ್ ಒಳಗ 15% ಏನಾಗತ್ತೆ ರೀ? ಕಡಿಮೆ ಆಗತ್ತೆ. ಅದನ್ನ V1 minus 15 divided by 100 into V1 ಅಂತ ಬರ್ತೀನಿ. Simplify this, what you will get? 100 minus 15, that gives 85 V1 divided by 100. Okay, so this is the final volume, and you need to find the temperature, that is T2, and the final pressure is double. Okay, ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ? ಫೈನಲ್ ಆಗಿ ಪ್ರೆಷರ್ ಡಬಲ್ ಆಗುತ್ತಾ? ಇನಿಷಿಯಲ್ ಪ್ರೆಷರ್ is P1. initial pressure ಏನದ P1 ಅದ, then final pressure would be, final pressure is equal to how much? Double the initial pressure, 2 times initial pressure ಆಗಿರುತ್ತೆ. Okay, now you have T1, V1, V2, P1. Okay, find the value of T2. T2 ನ ಏನು ಮಾಡಬೇಕು? Find out ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. So what equation you will use? Here you have to use combined gas equation, that is P1 into V1 divided by T1 is equal to P2 V2 divided by T2. Now substitute the values, these values in that equation. So P1 is P1 only, V1 is V1, okay, divided by T1 is initial temperature is 348 is equal to P2 is how much? Twice the initial volume, that is 2P1 into V2 is how much? 85 V1 divided by 100. 85 V1 divided by 100, okay, into T2, that you need to find. So T2 write as it is. Now simplify this. P1 get cancels, V1 get cancels. Here what will remain? 2 into 85 divided by T2 into 100, and here 1 divided by 348. So simply cross multiply this. What you will get? T2 is equal to 2 into 85 into 348 divided by 100. Okay, so upon simplification you will get the temperature 592 Kelvin, and here the temperature is given in terms of degree Celsius. So convert that into degree Celsius. How you will convert? 592 minus 273, it will gives 319 degrees Celsius. Okay, that is the value of T2. So which option is right here? Option A, 319 degrees Celsius is the correct answer. 12th question. 10 gram of a gas at 1 atm and 273 Kelvin occupies 5 liters. The temperature at which the volume becomes double for the same mass of gas at same pressure is. ಏನು ಕೊಟ್ಟಾರ್ರಿ ಅವರು? 10 ಗ್ರಾಮ್ ಗ್ಯಾಸ್ ತಗೊಂಡು ಪ್ರೆಷರ್ ಎಷ್ಟದ? 1 atmospheric ಪ್ರೆಷರ್, ಟೆಂಪರೇಚರ್ 273 ಕೆಲ್ವಿನ್ ಅದ. ಅಷ್ಟು ಕಂಡೀಷನ್ ಇದ್ದಾಗ ಎಷ್ಟಿರುತ್ತೆ ರೀ ವಾಲ್ಯೂಮ್? 5 ಲೀಟರ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ದಿ ಟೆಂಪರೇಚರ್ ಆಟ್ ವಿಚ್ ವಾಲ್ಯೂಮ್ ಬಿಕಮ್ಸ್ ಡಬಲ್ ಫಾರ್ ದಿ ಸೇಮ್ ಮಾಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಗ್ಯಾಸ್ ಆಟ್ ಸೇಮ್ ಪ್ರೆಷರ್ ಈಸ್. ಹೌದಾ? ಈಗ ಇದು 5 ಲೀಟರ್ ಇದ್ದಿದ್ದು ಡಬಲ್ ಆಗೈತಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ 10 ಲೀಟರ್. ಸೊ 10 ಲೀಟರ್ ಯಾವ ಟೆಂಪರೇಚರಿಗೆ ಆಗುತ್ತಾ? ಓಕೆ, 273 ಕೆಲ್ವಿನಿಗೆ 5 ಲೀಟರ್ ಇರುತ್ತಾ? At what temperature it occupies 10 liters of volume, that you need to find. So simply how you will solve this? So just write down the given things. Initially the volume is V1 is 5 liters, okay, and temperature, that is T1, is 273 Kelvin. Then at a temperature, certain temperature that you need to find, that is T2 is equal to question mark. At this temperature volume gets doubles, okay, ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಡಬಲ್ ಆಗುತ್ತಾ? 2 into V1 ಇನಿಷಿಯಲ್ ವಾಲ್ಯೂಮ್ ಕಿನ ಡಬಲ್ ಆಗುತ್ತಾ? ಸೊ V1 ಅಂದ್ರೆ ನಮಗೆ ಆಲ್ರೆಡಿ ಗೊತ್ತು ಎಷ್ಟದ? 5 ಲೀಟರ್. ಸೊ 2 into 5 is 10 liters. So V2 is 10 liters. You need to find T2. Which formula you will use? Again the Charles law. V1 by T1 is equal to V2 divided by T2. ನೀವೇನು ಫೈಂಡ್ ಔಟ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು? T2. ಸೊ T2 is equal to, ಕ್ರಾಸ್ ಮಲ್ಟಿಪ್ಲೈ ಮಾಡ್ರಿ, ಏನಾಗುತ್ತಾ? V2 into T1 divided by V1. So V2 is how much? 10. T1 is 273 divided by V1 is 5. So 5 ones are 5 twos are 2 into 273. How much it gives? It gives 546. Okay, it is in Kelvin, but here the temperatures are given in degree Celsius. One is given in Kelvin, that is 273, but here we got 546 Kelvin, and here 546 is there, but it is given in degree Celsius. So just convert this into degree Celsius. How you convert? 546 minus 273. Eshtagutte? Again it gives 273 degree Celsius. So T2, at 273 degree Celsius temperature, the volume gets doubles. Andre 5 liter iddiddu enagutte 10 liter agutta. So which option is right here? Option C is the right one. The 13th question. If densities of two gases are in the ratio 1:2 and their temperatures are in the ratio 2:1, then ratio of their molar mass is. So our densities kotara ಎರಡು gas adav, gas 1 and gas 2. They have their density in the ratio 1:2. If one gas is having density 1 gram per centimeter cube, the another one is having 2 gram per centimeter cube. Okay, and temperatures are in the ratio 2:1. If one is having 2 degrees Celsius, another one will having 1 degree Celsius, then the ratio of their molar mass is, you need to find the molar mass of the gases. Okay, now you have one relation, that is P is equal to dRT divided by M. It gives the relationship between pressure and density, or molar mass and density. Now see here, P is constant. In the given question, they have mentioned that the pressure is constant and R is also constant. So leave these two constants. Okay, they are constant values. Since we are taking the ratios, if you take the ratio, R and P, they will get cancel out. So what will remain? M is equal to what? D and T will remain if you take the ratio. Okay, now M is directly proportional to density and temperature. Let us call the molar mass of first gas as M1, that is equal to density of the first gas is D1 and density temperature of the first gas as T1. Then M2 is equal to, that is molar mass of gas 2 is equal to density of gas 2 is D2 and T2 the temperature of gas 2. Now take the ratio. They asked you to find the ratio of their molar mass. So what you will get? M1 divided by M2 is equal to D1 into T1 divided by D2 into T2. Substitute the values. What you will get? D1, that is 1, divided by D2 is 2 into T1 is 2 and T2 is 1. Okay, so 2 they get cancel out. 1:1 will be the answer. M1 ratio M2. Okay, because here you will get M1 by M2 is equal to 1/1. That can be also written as 1:1. So the ratio of their molar masses is 1:1. And which option is right here? Option A is the correct answer. The 14th question. Volume of the air that will be expelled from a vessel of 300 cm cube when it is heated from 27 degrees Celsius to 37 degrees Celsius at the constant pressure will be. ಏನು ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಅವರು? ವಾಲ್ಯೂಮ್ ಆಫ್ ದಿ ಏರ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೆಲ್ಡ್ ಫ್ರಮ್ ದಿ ವೆಸಲ್ ಆಫ್ 300 cm ಕ್ಯೂಬ್. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ 300 cm ಕ್ಯೂಬ್ ಇರುವಂಥದ್ದು ಒಂದು ವೆಸಲ್ ಅದ. ಆ ವೆಸಲ್ದಿಂದ ಏನಾಗೈತಿ? ಗ್ಯಾಸ್ ಹೊರಗೆ ಹಾಕೈತಿ. ಓಕೆ, ಟೆಂಪ್ರೇಚರ್ ಎಷ್ಟಾಗದಾಗ 27 ಡಿಗ್ರಿ ಸೆಲ್ಸಿಯಸ್ ಇದ್ದಿದ್ದು 37 ಡಿಗ್ರಿ ಸೆಲ್ಸಿಯಸ್ ಆದಾಗ ಓಕೆ ಹೊರಗೆ ಹೋಗ್ಬಿಡುತ್ತೆ. ಟೆಂಪ್ರೇಚರ್ 27 ಇದ್ದಿದ್ದು 37 ಆದ್ರೆ ಆಟ್ ಅ ಕಾನ್ಸ್ಟಂಟ್ ಪ್ರೆಷರ್ ವಿಲ್ ಬಿ. ಎಷ್ಟು ಹೊರಗೆ ಹೋಗುತ್ತೆ ಅದನ್ನು ನೀವೇನು ಮಾಡಬೇಕು? ಫೈಂಡ್ ಔಟ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ರೈಟ್ ಡೌನ್ ದಿ ಗಿವನ್ ಥಿಂಗ್ಸ್. ವಾಲ್ಯೂಮ್ ಆಫ್ ದಿ ವೆಸಲ್ ಈಸ್ ಗಿವನ್, ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ V1, because whatever the volume of gas is there or volume of vessel is there, okay, that much volume will be occupied by the gas, and hence V1 is equal to 300 cm cube. It is nothing but the volume of gas also. and temperature initially it is 27 degree Celsius. Again convert this into Kelvin. How much it becomes? 300 Kelvin. Okay, and T2 it is raised from 27 to 37 degrees Celsius. So 37 degrees Celsius means it is nothing but 310 Kelvin. Okay, so what is the volume which is expelled from the vessel? That you need to calculate. So again, V1 is there, T1 is there, T2 is there. You need to find V2. So apply the Charles law. V1 by T1 is equal to V2 divided by T2. What you need to calculate? V2. So V2 is equal to V1 T2 divided by T1. Okay. So V1 is how much? 300 into T2 is how much? 310 divided by T1 is how much? It is 300 Kelvin. 300 Kelvin. So 300 get cancel out. How much it becomes? 310 cm cube. So the volume which is expelled is 310 cm cube. Since the temperature has been increased, the volume will also get increases. So V2 is equal to 310 cm cube. Which option is right here? Again, option A is 310 cm cube. 15th question. Two flasks A and B of 500 ml each are respectively filled with O2 and SO2 at 300 Kelvin and 1 atmospheric pressure. The flask will contain. So ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಏನು ಕೊಟ್ಟಾರ? ಎರಡು ಫ್ಲಾಸ್ಕ್ ತಗೊಂಡಾರ A and B. ಎರಡರದ್ದು ವಾಲ್ಯೂಮ್ ಎಷ್ಟದ? 500 ml ಅದ. ಅದರೊಳಗೆ ಒಂದರೊಳಗೆ ಏನು ತುಂಬಿದಾರ? ಆಕ್ಸಿಜನ್ ತುಂಬಿದಾರ. ಇನ್ನೊಂದರೊಳಗೆ ಸಲ್ಫರ್ ಡೈಆಕ್ಸೈಡ್ ಹ್ಯಾಸ್ ಬಿನ್ ಫಿಲ್ಡ್ and temperature is 300 and 1 atmosphere pressure at both the flask. The flask will contain option A the same number of atoms, option B the same number of molecules, option C more number of moles of molecules in flask A as compared to flask B, option D the same amount of gases. So as you know, here the temperature and pressure conditions are similar. Same condition has been maintained. So when there is equal volume is there under similar temperature and pressure conditions, there will be presence of equal number of atoms, molecules or ions. Here oxygen and sulfur dioxide, these are molecules, hence in both the flask there is a presence of same number of molecules. Okay, if they have given atoms, then you have to write the same number of atoms. Since O2 and SO2 are molecules, hence they contain same number of molecules. Therefore, option B is the right one. Here we use the Avogadro's law. Okay, ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಏನು ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಿ ನೀವು? Avogadro's law ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಆನ್ಸರ್ ಅನ್ನು ಫೈಂಡ್ ಔಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಿ. Option B is the right answer. The 16th question. At what pressure a quantity of gas will occupy a volume of 60 ml if it occupies a volume of 100 ml at a pressure of 720 mm? ಒಂದು ಗ್ಯಾಸ್ 720 mm ಪ್ರೆಷರ್ ಮೇಂಟೈನ್ ಮಾಡಿದಾಗ ವಾಲ್ಯೂಮ್ ಎಷ್ಟು ಅಕ್ಯುಪೈ ಮಾಡುತ್ತಾ? 100 ml ಅಕ್ಯುಪೈ ಮಾಡುತ್ತಾ? ದೆನ್ ಅಟ್ ವಾಟ್ ಪ್ರೆಷರ್ 60 ml ವಾಲ್ಯೂಮ್ ಇಟ್ ವಿಲ್ ಅಕ್ಯುಪೈ? ಯಾವ ಪ್ರೆಷರಿಗೆ 60 ml ವಾಲ್ಯೂಮ್ ಅನ್ನ ಅಕ್ಯುಪೈ ಮಾಡುತ್ತಾ? ಅದನ್ನ ನೀವೇನು ಮಾಡಬೇಕು? ಫೈಂಡ್ ಔಟ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. So here they have given the final pressure and final volume. Okay, ಇದು ಏನು? Final pressure, okay, and it is final volume, and hence consider that volume as V2, that is equal to 100 ml, and P2 is 720 ml. Okay, since they are having larger values, let us consider them as final volume and final pressure. And then the volume, that is V1 is 60 ml. Okay, this much volume will occupy at what pressure? That is P1 is equal to question mark. Then which relation you will use? As you know, the formula P1 V1 is equal to P2 V2. This is according to Boyle's law. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಏನು ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಿ? Boyle's law of the equation ನ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ. Next, what you need to determine? You need to determine P1. So P1 is equal to P2 into V2 divided by V1. So P2 is how much? 720 mm into V2 is how much? 100 ml and V1 is 60. So how much you will get? 0 get cancel out, okay, and 6 ones are 6 12s are and 120. So 120 is a 720. 120 into 10 is 1200 ml. We will get the initial pressure, that is pressure as 1200 ml. That means at this pressure, that is about 1200 mm, the volume of the gas is 60 ml. Okay, therefore the option D is the right one. The 17th one, density of O2 is maximum at, okay. So remember, here they have given the temperature and pressure. Usually the gases will have the maximum density when the temperature is low and pressure is high. Density ಯಾವಾಗ ಹೆಚ್ಚಿರುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ pressure ಏನಿರಬೇಕು ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಇರಬೇಕು, temperature ಏನಿರಬೇಕು ಕಡಿಮೆ ಇರಬೇಕು. So as temperature decreases, molecules come near to each other, so volume gets decreases, and if you increase the pressure, again the volume gets increases, and hence due to the decrease in the volume, the density of that substance or of that gas will get increases. So in the given option, you have to see which one is having lower temperature and higher pressure. So first one, STP, standard temperature and pressure. Standard temperature and pressure means temperature is 273 Kelvin and pressure is 1 atm. Option A it is. Second, option B, 273 Kelvin and 2 atmospheric pressure. Option C, 546 Kelvin and 1 atmospheric pressure. Option D, 546 Kelvin and 2 atmospheric pressure. As I have already told you that there should be presence of low temperature. Here this one is 546 and this one is also 546. So these two are not possible to show the oxygen's density maximum. Okay, so remaining these two, 273 Kelvin and 273 Kelvin. Here in both the cases the temperature is low. Then you have to see the pressure, whether the pressure is high or low. At high pressure the density is maximum. Which one is having maximum pressure? 2 atm. Okay, so this option, option B is the right one, because it is having low temperature as well as high pressure as compared to all other three. So option B is the right one. 18th question, the pressure of sodium vapor in 1 liter container is 10 torr at 1000 degrees Celsius. How many atoms are in the container? Okay, so here you need to find the number of atoms. If sodium vapor which is present in 1 liter container at 10 torr, okay, so at temperature is 1000 degrees Celsius, how you find the number of atoms? Before going to find the number of atoms, you should know the number of moles which are present in that container. After getting the number of moles, you will get the number of atoms. So first find the number of moles. How you will find? Use the equation PV is equal to nRT. So PV is equal to nRT, it gives the number of moles. In order to find the number of moles, we should know P, V, R and T. So first write down what they have given. Pressure. What is the pressure? 10 torr. Okay. Here convert this torr to atm, atmospheric pressure. So in order to convert that, you should know 1 torr is equal to how many atmospheric pressure? Remember, 1 torr is equal to 0.0013 atmospheric pressure, and 10 torr means that is nothing but 10 into 0.0013, that gives 0.013 atmospheric pressure. So this is the pressure. Now volume, what is the volume? Volume is 1 liter. So V is equal to 1 liter, and temperature is 100 degrees Celsius, 1000 degrees Celsius. Convert this into Kelvin. How much you will get? 1273 Kelvin. This is the temperature. Now substitute the values in this equation in order to find the N. Along with this, you should know the value of R. R value is 0.0821 liters atmospheric per Kelvin. Okay, so substitute the values in this equation. N is equal to PV divided by RT. So P is how much? 10 torr, that is 0.013 atm, into V is 1 liter. So 1 divided by R is 0.0821 and T is 1273 Kelvin. So how much you will get? The number of moles is 1.24 into 10 raised to minus 4 moles. You will get 1.24 into 10 raised to minus 4 moles. Now find the number of particles. How you will find the number of particles? Simply use the Avogadro's number. As you know, 1 mole of any substance contains Avogadro's number of atoms or molecules, that is 6.022 into 10 raised to 23. So simply N is equal to, number of atoms is equal to, okay, 1.24 into 10 raised to minus 4 into Avogadro's number, that is 6.022 into 10 raised to 23. So on simplification, you will get 7.6 into 10 raised to 19 atoms. Okay, this is minus 4 plus 23 will give plus 19, and 1.24 into 6.022 is 7.6. So this is the number of atoms. So option B is the right answer. 19th question. The atmospheric pressure on Mars is 0.61 kilopascal. What is the pressure in mmHg? Okay, so here you should know the relationship between kilopascal and mmHg. 1 kilopascal is equal to 7.5 mmHg. So how much kilopascal is there? 0.61 kilopascal means how much? 7.5 into 0.61, that gives the answer in mmHg. What would be the answer? It is 4.6. So option B is the right one. So remember this relation, 1 kilopascal is equal to 7.5 mm of Hg. 20th question. Which of the following gaseous mixture does not follow Dalton's law of partial pressure? So ಇಲ್ಲಿ 4 ಮಿಕ್ಸ್ಚರ್ ಕೊಟ್ಟಾರ, ಗ್ಯಾಸಸ್ ಮಿಕ್ಸ್ಚರ್. ಯಾವುದು ಡಾಲ್ಟನ್ಸ್ ಲಾ ಒಬೆ ಮಾಡೋದಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ಫೈಂಡ್ ಔಟ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. ವಾಟ್ ಡಸ್ ಡಾಲ್ಟನ್ಸ್ ಲಾ ಸ್ಟೇಟ್ಸ್? ದಿ ನಾನ್ ರಿಯಾಕ್ಟಿಂಗ್ ಮಿಕ್ಸ್ಚರ್ ಆಫ್ ಗ್ಯಾಸಸ್, when we consider the total pressure is equal to individual partial pressures of the gases. Okay, the mixture should be non-reacting, and here you need to find which one is reacting and which one is non-reacting. If the reaction mixture is reacting, then it does not obey Dalton's law of partial pressure. Okay, so first one SO2Cl2, option B CO2N2, option C CuSO2, and option D CON2. Among these 4, If you observe the option A, SO2 and Cl2, they will combine to form SO2Cl2. That you may have learnt in P block elements. This reaction will comes there. Okay, so SO2Cl2 will be formed when they mixed with each other, and hence this option A is consist of a reacting mixture and hence does not obey Dalton's law of partial pressure. So option A is the right answer. The 21st question, 56 gram of nitrogen and 96 gram of oxygen are mixed isothermally at a total pressure of 10 atm. The partial pressures of O2 and N2 are respectively, you have to write. So here, see, you need to relate the partial pressure and the mole fraction here. Okay, you have already studied the relationship between partial pressure and mole fraction, that is given by P is equal to Pi is equal to Xi into P total. In the chapter states of matter, you have studied this. If you forgotten that, just remember this. Partial pressure of any gas is equal to mole fraction of that gas into total pressure. Okay. Now, here you have to find the mole fraction. Okay. Then you will get the partial pressure. Let us consider the first one, nitrogen gas. So, nitrogen gas, for that write it as Pn2 is equal to Xn2 into P total. Okay. So now Pn2, before finding that you need to find the mole fraction of N2. How you find the mole fraction of N2? That is equal to number of moles of component nitrogen, that is, okay, divided by total number of moles of all the component, total number of moles of all the components, that is nitrogen and oxygen. So in order to find this mole fraction, you need to find the number of moles of nitrogen. Number of moles of nitrogen na ಏನು ಮಾಡಬೇಕು, ಫೈಂಡ್ ಔಟ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. ಅವಾಗ ನಿಮಗೆ ಮೋಲ್ ಫ್ರಾಕ್ಷನ್ ಸಿಗುತ್ತೆ. ಮೋಲ್ ಫ್ರಾಕ್ಷನ್ ಸಿಕ್ಕ ಮೇಲೆ ಪಾರ್ಷಿಯಲ್ ಪ್ರೆಷರ್ ಆಫ್ nitrogen gas ನಿಮಗೆ ಸಿಗುತ್ತೆ. Okay, so how you find the number of moles? Number of moles is equal to given mass divided by molecular mass. So how much nitrogen is given? 56 gram. So 56 gram divided by molecular mass of N2. Okay, single nitrogen is having the atomic mass 14, 2 nitrogen atoms are there, so it is 28. 28 ones are 28 twos are. So number of moles of nitrogen gas is 2. Now find the number of moles of oxygen in the similar manner. ಇದೇ ರೀತಿ number of moles of oxygen find out ಮಾಡಿ. ಹೆಂಗ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಿ? Number of moles of oxygen is equal to given mass. How much it is given? 96 divided by the molar mass is 32. 32 ones are 32 threes are. So 3 moles of oxygen are there. So total number of moles of components is how much? Total number of moles is equal to oxygen how much? 2 plus nitrogen is 2 and oxygen is 3. So 2 plus 3 is equal to 5. That is total number of moles. Now find the mole fraction of N2. Number of moles of N2, how much it is? 2 divided by total number of moles is 5. So 2 divided by 5, it is the mole fraction of N2. And now find the partial pressure of N2, that is Pn2 is equal to Xn2 is 2 by 5 into total pressure is how much? 10 atm. So it is 10. How much you will get? You will get 4. 5 ones are 5 2s are. So 2 into 2 is 4. So partial pressure of nitrogen is 4. Then what is the partial pressure of oxygen? Use the same formula. PO2 is equal to XO2 into P total. Okay. Now number of moles, first you have to find the mole fraction of oxygen. How you find the mole fraction of oxygen? XO2 is equal to number of moles of, here you have taken nitrogen, okay, now you have to take oxygen. How many number of moles are oxygen are there? 3 divided by total number of moles is 5, okay. So substitute that value, what you will get? Partial pressure of oxygen is equal to 3 divided by 5 into again total pressure is 10. So 5 ones are 5 twos are. How much you will get? 3 into 2 6. The partial pressure of oxygen is 6 and partial pressure of nitrogen is 4. They have given the partial pressures of O2 and N2 respectively are. What is the partial pressure of O2? 6 and partial pressure of N2? 4. So 6 comma 4 is the right answer. So which option it is? Option A is not right because they have given the reverse. Option B 5 comma 5, option C 2 comma 8, option D 6 comma 4 is the right answer. 22nd question. In a closed container 44 gram of H2 is filled and in another 40 gram of CO2 is filled. Okay. The pressure of CO2 is 1 atm, then pressure of H2 in the first container is. So what they have did? They have taken two container having same volume and both are closed. In one they have taken hydrogen that is of 44 gram and in another they have taken CO2 that is also of 44 gram. Okay. In this second container the pressure is 1 atm. Second container ಒಳಗೆ pressure ಎಷ್ಟದ 1 atm. ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಏನದ ಕಾರ್ಬನ್ ಡೈಆಕ್ಸೈಡ್. ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಕಂಟೈನರ್ ಒಳಗೆ ಪ್ರೆಷರ್ ಎಷ್ಟಿರುತ್ತ? ಓಕೆ, ಇಲ್ಲೇ 1 atmospheric ಪ್ರೆಷರ್ ಇದ್ರೆ ಇಲ್ಲೇ ಎಷ್ಟು ಪ್ರೆಷರ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ ಅದನ್ನು ನೀವೇನು ಮಾಡಬೇಕು? ಫೈಂಡ್ ಔಟ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. ಸೊ ಹಿಯರ್ ವಾಟ್ ಈಸ್ ದಿ molar mass of carbon dioxide? 44. And here what is the molar mass of hydrogen? 2. Take the ratio. How much you will get? 2 ones are 2, 20 twos are. Okay. So if you take the ratio, here you have got the 22. That means 22 atmospheric pressure is there in this container because here there is 44 gram. That means only 1 mole of carbon dioxide is there. But here there is a presence of 22 moles of hydrogen. Each mole of hydrogen will exert the pressure of 1 and hence 22 moles are there. Therefore 22 atmospheric pressure is there inside this container. Okay, here only 1 mole of CO2 is there, but here how many moles? 22 moles are there. Simply you have to take the ratio. Okay, here 1 mole of carbon dioxide and here 22 moles of hydrogen you will get. Okay, so reverse this and then you will come to know how much pressure is exerted by the hydrogen in the first container, that is 22 atmospheric pressure. 1 mole of CO2 will exert 1 atmospheric pressure. Since both are having the same volume and same mass and hence the 22 moles of hydrogen are there and hence 22 atmospheric pressure will be exerted in this container. Okay, so option C is the right one, that is 22 atmospheric pressure. 23rd question. The quantity PV divided by Kb into T represents. As you know, the ideal gas equation is given as PV is equal to nRT, where n is number of moles and R is the gas constant and T is temperature. N represents the number of moles, and if you take PV divided by RT, okay, this is equal to N. So what is N? N means number of moles. So PV is equal to nRT. If you consider this equation, PV by RT indicates the number of moles. Okay, but what they have given? PV divided by KBT. So we use the another equation, that is PV is equal to N into KBT. Okay, so this can be represented with Avogadro's number. Okay, Avogadro's number is 6.022 into 10 raised to 23. By using that, this N will represent the number of particles. Okay, and therefore N is equal to how much you will get? PV divided by KBT. So this PV divided by KBT is equal to what? Number of gas particles. Okay, hence it will indicate the number of gas particles, PV divided by KBT. And KB is Boltzmann constant. KB ನಾವು ಏನಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ? Boltzmann constant ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ. Boltzmann constant. And what is the value of this Boltzmann constant? Either the value is 1.38 into 10 raised to minus 23 joules per Kelvin. So remember this value as well as the KB, that is Boltzmann constant. 24th question. The root mean square speed of an ideal gas at constant pressure varies with density. As you already know, just to go through the theory part, okay, there you come to know root mean square speed is proportional to 1 divided by square root of density. That means inversely proportional to square root of density. Okay, therefore the option D is the correct one, 1 divided by square root of D. Then 25th question, the rate of diffusion of a gas is proportional to, as you have already studied the Graham's diffusion law, it states that the rate of diffusion is inversely proportional to square root of the density, as well as it is also dependent on pressure. Rate of diffusion is directly proportional to pressure. Therefore, rate of diffusion is directly proportional to pressure. So, the P divided by square root of D is the correct answer. That is option A, rate of diffusion of gas is proportional to P divided by square root of D. Option A. 26th question. What is the ratio of diffusion rate of oxygen to hydrogen? So here, how you find the rate of diffusion? R1 by R2 is equal to square root of M2 divided by M1. That you have already studied in the synopsis. R1 by R2 is equal to M2 divided by M1. R1 is rate of diffusion of oxygen. R2 is rate of diffusion of hydrogen. M1 is molar mass of oxygen. M2 is molar mass of hydrogen. Okay. So R1 divided by R2 is equal to square root of, you can also write it as MH2 divided by MO2. Okay, molar mass of oxygen, molar mass of hydrogen. And R1 is, remember, rate of diffusion of oxygen gas. Okay, now substitute the molar mass values, that is square root of hydrogen H2, its molar mass is 2. Okay, molar mass of single hydrogen is 1, 2 hydrogens are there, so it is 2, divided by molar mass of oxygen is how much? O2. So O2 means it is 32. 1 oxygen 16, 2 oxygen 32. 2 ones are 16s are. 2 ones are 2 16s are. Okay, therefore R1 by R2 is equal to square root of 1 divided by 16. Taking the square root, what I will get? R1 by R2 is equal to 1 divided by 4. So rate of diffusion of oxygen to the rate of diffusion of hydrogen will be how much? R1 is nothing but 1, ratio R2 is nothing but 4. So 1:4 is the correct answer. So which option is right? Option A is the right one.